Hi everyone, it's Tom Butt from the Calder Group. I think we're the 19th of March. Obviously things are moving at a rapid rate of not in terms of the coronavirus and what should happen, what is happening, the support from government. And today we want to focus on what landlords should be doing in terms of their mortgage debt and the action should be taking. Now, I'm going to talk to Matt Jones from Moneywatch Finance, who specialises in mortgages. In a second. We talked last night, I sent a load of questions. This is what I want to know, but things have changed. So, morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Busy times, interesting times?
Unprecedented times, needless to say. Yes, we obviously spoke last night and we had what we thought were some good points and some good hints and tips for landlords. This morning, we both get up, check the news, and it's all changed yet again overnight.
Yeah, so I'm going to just say to you, okay, like you say, we had set questions, a lot of these are answered. You say what has changed overnight? What is the current situation?
Well, as of last night, there was little or no help going to be available for landlords other than what they organised themselves. It's been announced this morning that UK Finance, who largely advise and look after the banks and building societies in the UK, have announced that in line with residential customers, landlords are also going to be granted a 3-month payment holiday should they need it for their buy-to-let mortgages.
Okay.
So the consequences of that, obviously, a payment holiday doesn't mean anything other than your payments will be deferred for 3 months.
So it's not a case of they're waiving it and being really generous and saying for 3 months, don't pay anything and we'll ignore it. You're going to pay it at some point.
Yes, basically interest is still going to be charged on the mortgage. So basically the situation will be that at some point in the future, potentially after 3 months, if you've applied for your payment holiday, they will then want to make arrangements for you to catch up or make up those missed payments.
Okay, so a bit of future planning needed to make sure that you don't get caught out.
Yes, I think the process would be that landlords have got two options. They can either wait for their tenants to contact them directly, or the managing agent, if there's a managing agent employed,
yep.
Or the landlord could be proactive and contact each of their tenants before things start to escalate and while we've got the opportunity to be proactive. There's a couple of caveats, as always, with this. Before a mortgage lender agrees any payment holiday, the current mortgage has to be made up to date, so not in arrears.
Okay, so if you've had problems recently, you need to be talking to the lender about sorting that out first.
Correct. Now, to give you one example of one particular buy-to-let lender who we use quite a lot, Virgin Money, for example, they've already had in place before this incident a policy where for every 9 months consecutive payments, a residential or buy-to-let landlord could actually apply for a 1-month payment holiday. So if you've had a mortgage with Virgin Money for 27 months and you've made 27 payments, ordinarily you'd be entitled to a 3-month payment holiday. What lenders in general are saying, you don't have to supply any documentary evidence to prove that you need this holiday. So any buy-to-let lender can now be approached, and they should, under normal circumstances, give you a 3-month payment holiday.
Okay, so there's no need to prove that the tenant isn't paying. It's literally just approaching them and saying, I want to take advantage of this.
Correct, yes. Now, the consequences, if you take that 3-month holiday, you need, and my advice would be, ask explicitly of the lender, how will this be recorded to the credit bureaus?
Okay,
what you do not want your lender to record to the credit bureaus is any adverse credit history or information, as that will prevent you in the future potentially remortgaging or getting further credit or mortgages in the future. Now, at the moment, as we speak, there is some ambiguity again surrounding that. I think what they have said is mortgage providers will make every effort to ensure that borrowers taking a payment holiday will not be negatively impacted on their credit score. Now, to me, that's an ambiguous statement. I would ask each customer to get it explicitly in writing. This will not have an adverse effect in the future. What I would recommend is, even if you had granted a 3-month payment holiday, make a nominal payment, if only £1 or £10 to your mortgage each month. Therefore, technically, you've not missed any payments, and therefore they can't record that no payments have been made. And that, to me, would be a very small price to pay for that reassurance.
Yeah, no, I fully agree, because let's face it, at the best of times when everything's normal in the world, errors happen on administration. You and I have been in the financial services industry long enough to know that the people under pressure make an error. It's the implications and the knock-on effect for our clients at a later date that's the issue. So yeah, no, it does make sense. Like I say, for £10, £50, it keeps that track going. So I suppose then it's, yeah, contact your provider or lender straight away. Be aware of the credit score and get something in writing from them, and keep that safe. So if you get an email, print it, store it, do whatever you need to do. What I suppose the practical bit is, what should landlords be doing with their tenants at the moment?
Well, as I mentioned before, I think it would be advantageous to proactively contact them. If you don't already know what their occupation is, which you technically should, I guess by the end of the day, we will know whether they're treated as a key worker.
Yeah.
If they're a key worker, they're still going to have income. That doesn't mean they won't have hardship, but it hopefully means that if they're being paid, you'll be paid. Then you're going to have a big grey area where you really don't know what their financial situation is. And I guess you just need to have a delicate conversation, as you would do with anybody, as to will you be struggling or won't you be struggling. One of the criticisms that lenders have been spoken about is that as a mortgage broker, when you come to arrange a buy-to-let mortgage, landlords never quite understood the significance of the stress testing and why they had to prove that the rent was significantly greater than the mortgage payment. And I guess here's the time now where that stress testing is being put to the test. Most landlords will have interest-only mortgages. Rents would be significantly higher than the mortgage payments. So you'd like to think that most landlords have got a bit of money in the bank, or could actually ride a 3-month issue without too much difficulty. So it may well be that you carry on making your mortgage payments, but your tenants, you might have to cut them some slack in the short term.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So really, it's looking at it in that business sense. If you've got issues, deal with it head on. Don't bury your head in the sand. I take it we'll put your details on the end of this video, Matt, on our website. I take it at the moment, I know you're self-isolating, so you're not going anywhere. You've got time on your hands at the moment. So I take it you're open to people phoning up and asking for some help and being there for them.
Yes, very much so. They can reach out to me. I mean, yesterday morning, which was pretty much, I guess, day one of this, I had customers literally emailing me and messaging me via Facebook about their own residential mortgages. So I guess this is just an extension of that advice. At the end of all this, landlords will be able to potentially remortgage if they need to, if they've got good equity in the property. They could even potentially release some equity if they've got themselves into small amounts of debt. Obviously, most lenders will have strict conditions as to under what circumstances you can release equity. You can also, if you haven't got a fixed rate buy-to-let, refix it so you know for the next 3-5 years what your commitments will be. The other thought I had, if you have got a capable tenant who is going to be in the property for 10, 12, 14 weeks, and you know that there are works needing doing to your property, perhaps to come to some arrangement with your tenant where they could do some work for a compromise on the rental payments. So if they can redecorate, or they can do the garden, or they can do some repairs, perhaps just come to some arrangement whereby you could reduce the rent in terms of them doing some work on the property to improve your asset.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So, okay, different angle. Must admit, the one I hadn't thought of. So it makes sense. But
I think being creative is going to be the key here.
absolutely, it's adapt to survive and keep fighting. It's a key to make sure that we get through wherever this is going to be, whenever the UK locks down fully, and whenever all this stops and we return to whatever normality is going to be. Matt, aware of the time, aware you've probably got a lot on. I'm keeping an eye on the markets, trying to see what's happening there. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate the advice. We'll put your number on. And yeah, good luck to you and to all our landlord clients.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Stay safe and stay well.
Right. Take care, Matt. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.